Well, at first glance, it doesn't seem to come up, break away as nicely as I'd hoped it would. But I think, oh, actually it does come off pretty good. Once you get it started, then it does actually come off pretty easily. We'll take a look at it once we clean it all up. So I think you can see right around the corners there, the edges, little bit peeping through, but not that much, where it's probably, once it's heat pressed, you can see the little bit peeping through. It probably would not matter that much. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one and set up the file a little bit differently and actually tear away the glitter before doing the satin stitch and see if that makes a difference. But this is acceptable. It's not too bad. But I'll do it the other way just to see the difference. We have our fabric hooped up here, and what we want to do here is I want to show you something a little bit different on my screen here. We're actually going to quit out of this. See if I can show you this. So we're going to pull in. This is our new stitch file. Go ahead and set it. So what we're going to do here is set some colors, our thread colors. If we go in here, you can see we actually have 3 different thread colors. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually make them, let's just, for this example, let's make them all red. Okay? And of course, we only have to do this once when we set that file up. Now, in that second color, we're going to add a stop. That's what that little hand does on my brother machine here. And then we'll go ahead and go one more, and let's go ahead and set it to red as well. So all 3 colors are set the same. We'll choose Edit N, and then we go into our sewing file here. We want to make sure, actually I'm going to go ahead and adjust my position. So my needle 1 is roughly in the center of my frame here where I want it to be. So then we'll go back to our sewing tab here, and you can see that little hand icon, because that's going to stop between the first and second phase here. And you know what? Actually, we need to add another one for our third position. So let's go ahead and cancel back out of that. And let's go back in here. We'll go to the third one, and we'll add another stop. We'll go ahead and set it. All right, so now we should be ready to go. So we have 2 stops. So it's going to stitch our placement stitch, then it's going to stop, and then it's going to allow us to place our material, and then we're going to fire it up again, and then it's going to do our tack down stitch, and then it's going to stop, allow us to remove the glitter material, and finish up with our satin stitch. So we're going to do a clean out before our satin in this example. So now what we're going to do here is let's come in here and let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is set our thread colors here. We're going to set our spool to thread 1, and then we're going to come, let's see, we're going to hit plus minus. Our second spool is also going to be 1, and then our third spool is also going to stitch from needle 1. Okay, so now we've got all of that set up. We'll go back to 0, and we'll go ahead and stitch our first one. So we'll go ahead and okay, so now it's stitched our first one. Okay, so and it's paused and allows us to position our fabric. So now we've positioned our applique, which in this case obviously is our glitter material. And what we're looking for now is it's going to stitch, what it's doing is going to stitch a tack down stitch going to go around twice. I'm going to slow the machine down a little bit. What I did here is on the tack down stitch, I actually set it up so it'll go around twice, but I set up the tack down stitch, the spacing, to be 1 millimeter. The default in my embroidery software is 2.5 millimeter. So what we're hoping is by doing that, it gave us a nice clean cut. Oh yeah, look how nice and easy that glitter material comes away. You see there? Nice, easy, it ripped away quite easily, which is very good, because now we'll go ahead and stitch the satin stitch. So this first stitch result that we're looking at, you can see right around the edges there how nice and clean that is. We've got one little thread sticking up there, but very nice and clean around the edges. Now, this other result is a good result, but notice the edges as I move this slightly. See on the edges where a little bit of that glitter material is coming through. Okay, so this was the first one that I did. So what we did is we did the tack down stitch. We immediately did the satin stitch around. And then once that was done, then we peeled off the excess glitter material. But you can see, in my opinion, this is the way to go. And what we did here is we did the tack down stitch, a very, very tight tack down stitch, which pierced, perforated our glitter material just enough so we could easily weed it, and then did the satin stitch. And you can see how much cleaner, you know, from every angle. You just see it's just it's a cleaner result. This is okay, but you can see right there on the edges, just that little bit of glitter popping through, right around the edges, where it's just not quite as a clean result as you get here. So consider that when you're making your embroidery designs, if you're doing the GlitterApplique, to weed it first before you apply that satin stitch. Do a really tight tack down stitch. That'll perf the glitter material, and then you'll be good to go. And I think I really feel like you get a better result. This is an okay result, but yeah, I think you definitely get a better result. You can see right there at the edges, you know, in certain spots there, it's just hard to get a perfect, you know, because of the way the glitter material is made, it's hard to get a perfect result like you get here. So, you know, it's whatever your personal preference is, but just something to consider.